You know exactly what you should do in order to feel more at peace in your life, but still you don't do it. And this is the thing that I see in so many women. Yesterday I had a talk about this with one of the women I work with, and actually I was like shocked. I was asking her like, okay, so the biggest thing you want right now in life is to feel more at peace, to feel more calm inside your mind, inside your body, to experience more rest throughout the day, and not always be this on mode. So I ask her, what is it that you do on a daily or even a weekly base in order to get there? And she was thinking, she looked at me and she was, yeah, actually not much. And after talking together for a while, I was really like, okay, but isn't this where we have to start? Is this not the most important thing, that like throughout your week, you really take the time for yourself? And she was like, yes, Romy, but I know that. I know what to do. I know when I can do it. I do have the time. I know that I look at my screen time and it's like 2 to 4 hours. So I have time. I just know that I need to do it. But at the moment that I want to do it, I don't do it. So we were like, okay, but what's happening there then? If this is such a big thing. And I see it in so many women, that we want to take that space for ourselves, but something in us blocks. So we start diving into that. So, okay, at that point that you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I have my week planned out, and maybe you do this as well, that you plan out your week on Sunday or Monday, and you're like, okay, let's dive in. And at the point you're like, have to do it, you throw it all out of the window. And what we figured out there is that there were some beliefs in her system that keeping her away from doing that. There is a part of our nervous system that doesn't feel safe with slowing down. And exactly this, in the modern world right now, that slowing down is what we crave often. Not in the sense of we don't do anything anymore and we let go of our ambitions, because I know you're smart. I know that you're ambitious and you want to get as most as you can out of this life and out of everything that is around you or possible. I'm as well like that. But it shouldn't go at the cost of your own health. It shouldn't go at the cost of yourself and the connection to who you truly are in your core. You should not override yourself all the time in the name of just being productive. So coming back to that, like, what is happening there? And the beliefs that running in her mind are often the beliefs that also run in your mind as well. Something that we learned growing up that kept us safe, that we learned that was normal. But figuring out right now, you might notice, wait, this isn't normal. This is exactly the thing that I don't need. And the thing that I do need is more rest, is more peace. Coming back to that, what happens here is again the masculine energy versus the feminine energy. If you are like me, you're an entrepreneur or you are in a higher function in work, you have a family to run, something is going on where you have to just step in that masculine energy. That's totally fine. We need it. We need responsibility taking. We need to structure. We need a leadership. And it are great qualities. But what happens is that a lot of women operate not in that healthy masculine energy, but we operate in a wounded masculine energy, which can look as always doing too much. You're overachieving. You feel like it's never enough. You always feel like you have to do more. And yeah, there's a lack of boundaries. So what we need is, one, we need more healthy masculine energy, and two is what we need is stepping more in our feminine energy. At the moment, we're not in that function, we're not in that role. So yeah, of course, you're at your work and you have to do things and you want to you want to do things. You are ambitious. You want to create things. So of course we need that. But when do you switch back in that feminine energy and just be that real radiant woman that knows who she's worth and knows that rest is a strategy. It's something she deserves. It's like another identity that we embody instead of push away. Like it's a bit more going with the flow, but still having the structures to do so. It is really choosing yourself and receiving. It's really, really the balance that often lacks, and the balance between the healthy, good energies that really help each other out. So coming back to my clients, we were diving in those beliefs that were running underneath and the things that actually happen. So we did go back to, okay, what happens actually inside of you at those moments that you're like, nah, I can't do this. That even a walk feels too big. Or even like a 10-minute yoga session, you're like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. What happens there? And that is the idea that, one, it doesn't matter anyway. That's something you tell yourself. If I do that walk, if I eat healthy, if I choose myself, if I go to that yoga class, if I do this or that, doesn't matter what. If I choose myself for a little bit, it doesn't matter anyway. Because there's so much going on in your life, what makes you, brings you out of balance. You think that little thing isn't bringing it back in balance. But let me tell you something. It is. All those little things you do throughout your week, throughout your day, are exactly the things we need to grow back into balance. What do you think that happens if you do two things, two little things a day versus you do nothing at all? Of course, those two little things are gonna help you out. Of course, they're gonna make a difference. So stop telling yourself like, I need to do a lot in able to come back in balance. That's something that keeps you stuck. You keep yourself stuck in the same pattern, and the pattern underneath needs to change. So every time you hear yourself, tell yourself like, yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. What does it do if I go for a 10-minute walk right now? Do it. Just go and do that walk. Do it for yourself. Give yourself that permission to go, to choose yourself. And that's where other beliefs, like limiting beliefs, come in. Like, yeah, but I'm not worth it to take rest. I need to be productive first. It's super unproductive to rest. And that only means that you have a twisted belief around productivity that is not yours. That is not what you have learned or how you have been born. So you've been born like with no conditioning, and someone started telling you, or you started seeing around you, that you have to be productive first in order to take rest. And that can be very small, it can be very big, but it is something that is keeping you in the same pattern of continuously overriding yourself. So coming back to that, it's really important to notice that thought that you have. And that's all we need. We don't have to like heal it till we're like, oh, we need to go deep and dig. It's only noticing that thought and changing it. It's rewiring the thought pattern that you have had for years. And no, of course not. That's not going to change in a day. That's maybe not even changing in a week. But if you continuously keep telling yourself, like, it's okay to rest, and rest is productive, then there is a time that you start really believing that. And that becomes your new pattern, your new belief, your new strategy in life, instead of like, no, I need to be productive first. So that's just something to hold you there as well. And around that as well, it's the guilt. It's the guilt we feel of taking that space for ourselves. So actually what we're saying is, I'm not worth it to rest, to be at peace. In order for us to become that woman that has that feminine energy, that embodies that feminine energy, that feels radiant, that feels sensual, that feels good inside herself, that feels like alive instead of like constantly surviving her days and like dreading through life. We have to feel worthy. You have to start really giving that to yourself. You are good enough. So start there. Start with what is keeping you from really embodying that woman. And that's the answer. And there can be quite some other beliefs running the show. And that's good to always dive in deeper into, like what is actually happening. You can journal about it. I can help you with it. So if you are stuck between, I know everything what I need to do, but I don't do it, then this is your sign to just start doing it. Create a safety in your nervous system. That's the most important part, because you haven't learned that in a long, long time. So we have to feel the safety. And what I do is really tell myself like, hey girl, you got this. You can do this. And you can move forward. It's okay to take rest right now. And I train that is safe for myself. So there's a lot of things going on often behind or underneath the surface that we don't immediately notice or see. And we are so busy that we don't have the space to actually think about it. But start with a small thing. And this is exactly what I told my client yesterday, is start with the most smallest act that you can do. Make it light, make it fun. And how I do this is I have in my morning around an hour blocked for me. And that's me time. No one else, no phone, no thinking about everything. It's just me and how I want to fill it in that day. That does mean sometimes I want to do a yoga class of an hour and sweat. But sometimes I just want to like lay in bed a little bit longer. Sometimes I want to like journal, or I want to go on a walk. But I don't force myself to have this rigid routine that makes me all doing every day exactly the same. Because as you know, as I always say, we are women. We are absolutely not the same person each day. So why would you create a routine that does exactly the rigid routine every day, the same things every day? That's really going against your nature. So start working with your nature instead. Start creating that structure, that masculine structure, with the feminine flow to move in the directions you want to go in that day. And that's exactly making it way more light, make it super small, create something that you really love, like a little ritual. Treat yourself on a cacao, on a nice tea, on something that makes it really a sacred moment of your day, because girl, you deserve it. In order to do so, just start moving in that direction. Don't overthink it, just do it. And that's where I'm gonna close this episode with. If there's anything you want to explore together, check the show notes. There's a lot that I offer to help you on your path as well, to embodying that woman that is super happy, alive, radiant, sensual, intuitive, that is connected to herself and is not just like existing. So thank you for listening. I see you next time, Psycho Sisters. Bye.